You prayed, stayed faithful. So why does life still hurt? Many Christians secretly think, if I'm suffering this much, God must be angry. But sometimes pain is not punishment at all. Ethan was 28 years old. Every morning, his alarm rang at 6:15. Not because he loved mornings, because life forced him to wake up. He lived in a small, rented apartment near a busy street. Old furniture, small kitchen, a ceiling fan that made strange sounds every night. Nothing about his life looked successful. But every morning before leaving for work, Ethan sat quietly on the edge of his bed and prayed. Not long prayers, just simple words. God, help me get through today. Then he grabbed his bag and left. For the last 2 years, Ethan had genuinely tried becoming a better Christian. He stopped partying, started praying regularly, started attending church every Sunday, tried becoming calmer, tried becoming someone God would be proud of. And secretly, he believed life would improve because of it. But strangely, life became harder. First, his mother became sick unexpectedly. Hospital bills started increasing every month. Then his girlfriend suddenly ended their relationship. No huge argument. One evening, she simply said, "I don't think this relationship is working anymore," and left. That night, Ethan sat alone in darkness for hours, not crying, just staring silently, because sometimes emotional pain becomes too heavy for immediate tears. But the breakup wasn't the worst part. Confusion was. Because Ethan kept asking himself, why does my life keep getting worse, even after trying to follow God? That question slowly followed him everywhere. At work, at church, at home. Even during prayer, especially during prayer. Every Sunday, Ethan still attended church normally. He smiled at people, acted calm, but inside, he felt exhausted. One Sunday, someone asked, "How are you?" Ethan smiled automatically. "I'm good." But he wasn't. And honestly, many Christians do this. They hide struggles because they think struggling means weak faith. But pretending usually makes suffering heavier. Later that night, Ethan prayed again, but differently this time. No polished religious words, just honesty. God, I don't understand my life anymore. Silence. Nothing dramatic happened. No miracle. No voice from heaven. But something important changed that night. For the first time in months, Ethan stopped pretending during prayer. And sometimes healing starts there. Not when circumstances improve, but when honesty begins. The next morning, life continued normally. Traffic, stress, bills, noise. Ethan worked at an electronics repair shop. The salary was average. The customers were sometimes rude. And recently, the manager had been warning workers about possible staff cuts. More pressure. More uncertainty. One afternoon, a customer started yelling at Ethan over a delayed repair order. Ethan apologized calmly. But inside, frustration exploded. Not because of the customer alone, because months of stress had already filled him emotionally. That evening, Ethan walked home instead of taking the bus. He needed silence. As cars passed beside him, one dangerous thought repeated again and again inside his mind. Maybe God is disappointed in me. That thought slowly became stronger, because Ethan had started connecting pain with punishment. If life hurts, God must be angry. If prayers feel unanswered, God must not care. If suffering continues, God must be distant. And honestly, many believers silently think the same thing. But pain and punishment are not always the same thing. Ethan didn't understand that yet. That night, he opened social media while eating dinner. bad idea. Everyone online looked happy. Vacation photos, perfect smiling couples. Meanwhile, his own life felt emotionally broken. Comparison slowly destroyed his peace, because people usually compare their worst moments to someone else's best moments. Ethan suddenly threw his phone onto the couch and covered his face with both hands. He felt exhausted, not physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And honestly, there's a kind of exhaustion sleep cannot fix. The next weekend, Ethan met an older man named Michael outside church. Michael was around 60 years old. Simple clothes, calm voice, peaceful personality. After service, they started talking casually. Then Michael suddenly asked, "You seem heavy lately. Everything okay?" Ethan almost lied automatically, but this time he didn't. "I honestly feel like life keeps hitting me constantly." Michael nodded slowly. Then he quietly said, "Some of the strongest people are built during seasons they never wanted." Ethan stayed silent. Michael continued, "When I was younger, I lost my business completely. I thought God abandoned me. But years later, I realized that painful season changed me more than success ever did." That sentence stayed in Ethan's mind all week. Because pain changes people. That part is unavoidable. But suffering can either harden people or deepen them. A few days later, Ethan's mother became worse again. Another hospital visit, another expensive treatment. Ethan sat outside the hospital late at night, staring silently at the floor. Everything felt heavy. Then suddenly, his phone vibrated. Low bank balance notification. Almost empty. That night, while driving home, Ethan finally became angry during prayer. "God, what am I doing wrong?" Silence again. Rain hit the windshield softly. Streetlights reflected across wet roads, and Ethan felt emotionally tired in a way words couldn't explain. Then suddenly, he realized something. His biggest fear wasn't financial problems. It wasn't loneliness. It wasn't uncertainty. His biggest fear was believing God had abandoned him. And once people believe that, hopelessness grows quickly. Weeks later, Ethan lost his job. The repair shop reduced workers, and Ethan was one of them. Just like that. No warning, no backup plan, no savings. When he reached home that evening, he sat silently on the floor in darkness. Then the thoughts returned stronger than before. See, God really is against you. That's how discouragement works. It interprets every painful moment negatively. One failure becomes proof your future is ruined. One rejection becomes proof Abani cares.